Here's the problem, and the Treasury Secretary would admit this privately. Any government program like the PPP or the CARES Act are minimal band-aids that never end up helping the vast majority of Americans. Millions and millions of U.S. workers fall through the government response cracks. Truth is, government at any level can only do so much here. Government can create economic messes. Oh, that's easy. Government fixing it? Virtually impossible. Joining me now from Dallas, Texas, financial expert, co-founder and chief strategist of GDP Advisors, and Daily Ledger contributor Seth Denson. Seth, it's amusing to hear in particular the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, saying he's going to use every tool in his toolbox to help the United States economy, to prop up the United States economy, to keep people working. So my question to him, I guess, would be, does he have a sledgehammer in there so he can go to the governor's mansions of these blue states and bash through the doors and knock some sense into these people so they can open up their economies?
The only thing that is going to save the American economy is the American businessman.
Yep.
It is our free market system. That is it. Government cannot solve this problem long term. Sure, as you mentioned, they may try to stick a Band-Aid on it, but to what expense, right? At the end of the day, we need our economy to operate. That will solve the crisis.
And the University of Chicago has done a little studying of the numbers vis-a-vis the unemployment insurance and the federal government's response of, compounding the government, the unemployment insurance. And that is very simply, the University of Chicago has figured out what we talked about, what was it, maybe 2 months ago on this program? And that is, we're effectively paying people to stay home and not work.
Yeah, now, again, I think that I remain an optimist in the American citizen, right? I think Americans want to work, right? But we certainly shouldn't spend the taxpayers' money to create an incentive not to. And so my hope is that as we come out of this, that Americans will spring up. Listen, the American dream is not to be getting a government handout. The American dream is to work, to provide a life for you and your family,
Yep.
and I have faith in the American person.
If I had a dime, though, Seth, of every restaurateur that I have talked to during this crisis who has said that my employees are making more money staying at home, I would have a boatload of dimes. And in the Lone Star State, which is where you are, it's evidence of what we know is happening in every state. And that is, as people lose their jobs, they're also losing their health care because the health care comes along with the job.
Yeah, the vast majority of Americans get their health care through an employer-sponsored plan. And so what's happening is these Americans are falling off those rolls. What they're doing is now they're turning to more government programs, whether that be the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid. That's just going to impact government debt even more.
Yep, and so it becomes a vicious cycle. And, of course, government's going to need, in the end, more taxpayer dollars to pay for all of this. And so we will be on the hook for it. Seth, thank you.